Tonight is a Cracker Barrel dinner. So tonight we're going to be making Salisbury steak, and then we're going to be accompanying that with some of Cracker Barrel's COPYCAT fried apples. I don't know if you've ever had them at Cracker Barrel, but they are so good. So we are going to try them tonight and see if we can make them taste as good as the restaurant. You're going to start off by getting 4 golden delicious apples, and you're going to cut out the core, and then after you've done that, you're going to be cutting them into 1/4-inch slices. Then you're going to go ahead and take those 1/4-inch sliced apples and you're going to put them in a pot with 2 cups of apple juice. And you're going to cook those until they're fork tender but not mushy. In the meantime, we're going to make our apple pie spice. So to start off our recipe for our apple pie spice, we're going to start off with 4 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. So I'm going to just put that in. 4. You probably want to watch me cook, not just watch me stand here watching me. Oh. So you start off with 4 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. To that you're going to add 1½ teaspoons of ground nutmeg. And so I have some right here. Here's 1½ just like so. And then we're going to be adding 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice, which is going to be right here, the one hiding. Okay, there's the 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice. Now to this, we're actually supposed to be adding a teaspoon of ginger. And I don't have any ginger, but that's okay. I actually have some fresh ginger, which I'm going to put in today. But then as soon as I buy some, pick some up at the store, I'll be adding it to my jar. So the next time I cook with my apples pie spice, I'm gonna have it. So not to worry. All right, and then all I'm going to do after I get that all stirred up is I'm going to put that in one of these little ball jars that I got from a really good friend of mine. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Easy. I just wanted to show you how simple it is to make it rather than always going out and buying some of this stuff. Most of these things, honestly, you could make with what you have on hand, and I try to do that whenever possible. So I probably will put a little sticky note on this, just saying that I'm gonna need to pick up some, some ginger the next time I'm at the store. Not a big deal. Apples are just cooking away and they smell so amazing and so delicious. I just love fall, period. Now, you would never know it's fall. I live in California. We're in the middle of a heat wave. So I've actually been in the pool all day with my grandkids. So it's like 105 today where we live, but that's okay. I got the air conditioner on now. I'm kind of dreaming of fall. So anyway, we're making a nice fall supper, and I've almost got these apples to where I want them. It's been about 10 minutes. So I just checked them with a fork. They're not quite fork tender, but they are almost there. I'd say probably another 2 to 3 minutes, and these apples are gonna be done. And when they are, we're gonna take them out with a slotted spoon and just let them, sit in a separate bowl, and we're gonna make our sauce for the fried apples, and yum, yum. Then we're gonna get started on our Salisbury steak. So these are those little disposable labels. I put on here apple pie spice, add 1 teaspoon of ginger, just so I remember next time I go to the store. And after I do, I'll just put a line through that. So apple pie spice ready to go. Okay, I want to show you what they look like when they're fork tender. There you go. They look beautiful. Let me see if I can see how the fork goes right in there. These are fork tender. I don't want them mushy. This is exactly how I want them. I don't really want them crunchy either. So this will be perfect. So now all I'm gonna do is take these out with a slotted spoon, and I'm just gonna put them in a dish, and I'll show you how to make the, the apple pie mixture. Alrighty, in a blender, we're gonna add a 1/2 cup of our remaining apple juice. We're gonna add a teaspoon of our apple pie spice. I've already put in a little bit of ginger. We're gonna be adding 4 tablespoons. Actually, we're gonna be adding 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. I know it seems like a lot, but you've gotta have these apples nice and you need to have kind of that little applesauce gravy going on. That's the ticket. And then we're gonna put in 4 tablespoons of sugar. Then we're just gonna mix this up in a blender and add it to our existing apple juice that's boiling on the stove. So let me do this, it's kind of loud. Easy, easy. Now we're gonna add this to our existing mixture. Everything's all nice and, incorporated because we ran it through the mixer. And we're just gonna wait until this thickens up. Now I'm actually gonna use a whisk until this all incorporates really good. I just wanna make sure that the cornstarch doesn't have any clumps in it. It shouldn't, but this just always is an extra measure of care that we do. So we're just gonna let this keep cooking. So this mixture is starting to thicken up, and within the next 30 seconds, it'll be completely ready to go. All right, all done. So all we're gonna do now is add our apples back into the mixture, just like so. And then we're gonna give them a good stir. Oh man, all that cooked cinnamon and allspice and ginger. Oh boy, this is really gonna be good. And if you notice, the apples are completely staying together, nothing's falling apart. They just look beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna take them off this stove because it is electric and I don't want this to keep cooking. Your fried apples are completely done. So I am just gonna move those over here and get on to the next step in our meal. Now we're gonna be making our Salisbury steak. So I'm using ground beef for this. I have a chub of ground beef. As many of you know, I like the chubs. I prefer them over just the regular packaged ground beef in the store. I've read a lot about this, and it's much safer to eat the chubs as they are packaged right there at the meat packing plant. So I am going to go ahead and add that. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make our gravy. And the first thing it says is to slice up a yellow onion. Now these were some onions that I grew in my garden this year. I'm gonna go ahead and do another small one. These are all onions out of my garden. And I'm trying to use as many of these as I possibly can, fresh. And then when they're all dried out, whatever I can't eat fresh, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up and just put in the freezer to use throughout the year. I love to put put onions on my eggs in the morning. It's just something I always do. I think it just makes the eggs. So we're just gonna slice these nice and thin. So it's very seldom anymore you get an onion in the store that makes you cry, but these do. They're very strong onion. So we're starting to get some browning on our meat. So all I'm gonna do is just turn these over. And I've got a little splatter guard here. I'm gonna put this back on and just let these cook up. So I've taken the hamburger patties out of the stovetop, and all I'm gonna do now is add my sliced onions. And so I want these to get brown and translucent. And as soon as these are cooked up, we're going to add our slurry. Now I've already mixed this slurry together. I put in 2 cups of beef broth. I put in a tablespoon of cornstarch. I put in salt and pepper to taste. And I also put in 4 dashes of Worcestershire sauce. So it's not a real, you know, crazy recipe. This is all pretty easy to make. And we're just going to brown up these onions, and then we're gonna add our slurry to it, and then we're gonna put our hamburger patties right back inside of our pan. Boy, these smell so good. This is just about the consistency that I'm looking for with these onions. So all I'm gonna do now is add my slurry. I'll give it one more stir just to make sure the cornstarch is all incorporated into my beef broth. And then we're just gonna heat this up until it comes to kind of a, you know, kind of a nice thickening. And then we're gonna add our meat back into our Salisbury steak. This is gonna be so delicious. I can't wait. I haven't had this for a while. Okay, I've got this sauce back up to a boil, so all I'm gonna do is add my hamburgers back in. Okay, my dinner is done. I am just going to serve myself one of these patties, a little bit of the onions, and a little bit of the sauce. You don't want too much because I've got this hash brown casserole and I want to keep that intact as well. So there you go, Salisbury steak, COPYCAT Cracker Barrel hash brown casserole, and COPYCAT fried apples from Cracker Barrel. So this is how the Salisbury steak came out. I've got a little mango jello dessert there, made it with fresh mangoes. I've got my Cracker Barrel COPYCAT fried apples, and I'm just gonna do a little taste test so you can see how it tastes. So first I'm gonna try these fried apples. Oh, they're so good. Just like Cracker Barrel. And then I'm gonna try my Salisbury steak. Oh, it looks so good. And the COPYCAT hash brown casserole is the bomb. I made it a couple days ago. Today's my last day. I'm gonna be boxing some of it up in my TV dinners. Now, it's just impossible for me to use up all of that Salisbury steak. And although I really do like leftovers, I don't really want to eat the same thing for every single night for a week. So one of the things that I do when I have a lot of leftover food like this is I make TV dinners. And it's really easy. You just take your leftovers, and I buy these little containers. They have some at the Dollar Tree. These I got on Amazon, but I've always enjoyed making TV dinners. It's so nice to have a home-cooked meal when you really don't feel like cooking. And to be honest with you, I don't really care for a lot of the TV dinners that you buy in the store. So each one of these Salisbury steaks will make a really delicious dinner. And so I am just gonna put these in the larger portion of these foil containers. And then if you decide you want to have mashed potatoes or something like that, I mean, you could always make them and, you know, add them to them at a later time. So all I'm going to do is put some of the gravy on each one of them. I'm just going to put some of those on each side. These were so good. I'm telling you, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if people ate these and thought they were better than Cracker Barrels. That's how good they were. Put a nice portion in there. That's gonna be a little bit too big. Oh, these are so good. I have a Fuji apple tree in my backyard, and I checked the apples a few days ago. They're not quite ready yet, but not too long from now, I'll be making applesauce and apple cakes and all kinds of things. So I think this is about all I'm gonna be able to get in my dinners here. I think the rest of the apples I'm gonna have to go ahead and just put in the refrigerator. So all I'm gonna do is put these metal lids right on the top of these. This is so easy, and these store so nice. Now when I take these out to bake them, I am going to take this part off, and then I usually cover it with a piece of foil, or sometimes I even put it in like another container to cook it. But that's all there is to it, and then I label them. So I know this video was a little bit longer than usual, but I did have this dinner which ended up being a lot more work than I thought it was gonna be, but it was worth it. It was really good. I had dinner tonight. I'll have dinner for 3 other nights in my TV dinner, and then I still have a ton of fried apples to enjoy the rest of the week. So thank you for coming along this journey today. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.